Hey everyone, Alejandro Sanchez here with Apex Racing Academy. Today we are kicking things off with week 9 of IMSA iRacing series, this time at Road Atlanta in the Mercedes-AMG GT3 Evo. This season we are also giving away the Mercedes-AMG GT3 Evo completely for free, and that includes both the qualifying and race setups. And on those weeks that have IMSA Endurance as well attached to them, we are also including in the Endurance setups. In order to redeem your free data pack, just head over to apexracingac.com and download it. Now, about the track, it's one of my favorite tracks on iRacing, and I think the Mercedes is probably the fastest car around here in these current conditions and with these fuel loads and everything. So I'm quite confident that we built a very good setup for this week because I put a lot of effort into it. But yeah, I diverge. The actual track is very high speed. It's like an attraction park, really, like a theme park. It's a lot of compressions, a lot of fast corners, not really that many slow corners, just I think like 2. The rest is all about pushing and all about trusting the car and feeling very comfortable with the car balance. In this case, you need to run a oversteery car because otherwise the car won't rotate, but you cannot overdo it because otherwise you will kill the rear tires. It's a track that is very hard on tires because of the nature of it. As I said, it's a lot of high-speed corners and that tends to scrap the tires quite a bit. Also with the multi-class, it can prove quite tricky through the S's. You just need to give a little bit extra room to the prototypes if you're being lapped through the S's in Sector 2, because otherwise you will either get not coated or just get fully taken out. But yeah, I mean, in theory the Mercedes should be faster on here because you have a lot of curve strikes and a lot of like hard corners, like very fast hard corners where the car usually scrapes, but for some reason it's quite fast. So yeah, enjoy. As I said, it's probably the fastest car around here, and let's get stuck into the lap. You can grab this season's Mercedes-AMG GT3 Evo data pack for IMSA for free by clicking the link in the description below or by going over at apexracingac.com. Into the lap we go. For T1, you want to open up the line a little bit over the grass here on the left, and you want to brake as soon as you reach this crossover right where the grass ends on the left. Just like that. If you don't overdo it, you won't get an off track, but you can definitely take a lot of grass before getting it. I think the limit is just the white line crossing over the middle of the car before the grass ends on the left, but you definitely want to use the entire track. It's like this, drop it to 4th gear, and yeah, just approach the corner from as wide of an angle as possible, because that way you will be able to carry a lot of more apex speed. So tread off the brakes up until this point, hit the throttle before you actually hit the dip. That way you will minimize the scraping and bottoming out, and the car will rotate a lot nicer. Just be careful, because if you hit the throttle too soon and the car starts understeering, it won't stop understeering until you reach the outside curve, where you will be probably pulled into the grass and you may crash into the outside tire barrier, or just keep it straight and get a slowdown. So yeah, definitely be careful with the entry understeer, because also if you push too much on the entry, then you're just going to have understeer for the rest of the sector. So be very mindful of the tire life around here, because it's quite punishing on the tires. Keep it in 4th, then try to aim to put the car between these 2 grooves on the asphalt, right here in the middle, and then start to turn in roughly around here to the left, And yeah, as you're going over the elevation change, I just tend to lift and coast, because if you start braking, the car will get upset, and if you keep on throttle on powering it, then you're gonna have to brake sooner. So the best way to take it is just lift off as you're going over the elevation change to not upset the car, and then once the car is settled, you need to start to brake. Very smooth on the brakes as well. We are also putting in 2 tires on the left side of the track, on the left side of the curve, sorry, and just get as close as possible to this outside grass without driving over it. We do this in order to have a wider approach as well. Drop it to 3rd gear, hold the brakes to roughly around 50%, and trail off the brakes up until this point where you need to hit the throttle before you actually hit the curve. The limit of the off-track here is just touching the yellow line with the left side tires. That's gonna give you an off track, but in this case you can take quite a bit of curve without getting it, and just be patient with the throttle application, because as soon as the car lands, as you heard, it's gonna bottom out, and that tends to upset the car quite a bit. So yeah, as soon as it's settled, you can go back to full throttle. Short shift to 4th is what I really recommend doing with this car. It has a lot of torque, so you can take full advantage of that and minimize the chances of just sliding away. Just like this, drive over this curve here on the left as close as possible to this inside gravel. And then don't let the car track too wide, go back to the left side of the track as soon as possible. Just like this, you need to put the car beyond this groove on the left, and yeah, but well, more like the middle of the car going across this groove on the left. Just keep it pinned, a little bit of a lift if anything, because if you are not perfectly on the line, the car either snaps or you just bottom out. So once again, the tire life is very important around here, and this is one of the places that kills the tires the most. Keep it in 4th and just aim to hit this curve on the left in as much of a straight line as possible, so as square as possible with the curve basically. You can put 2 left side tires on the grass even on the left. And then for this uphill left-hander, we are gonna put just the right side tires over the curve, and just getting as close as possible to this outside grass without driving over it. We are also going to take it in 3rd because the car got the torque reduced a couple of seasons ago. Back in the day, we used to be able to take this in 4th because the car has had massive torque, but nowadays not so much anymore, so we are forced to take it in 3rd. Trail off the brakes up until this point, hit the throttle before you actually hit the curve on the left. You can use it or not, it's up to you. The car takes it just fine. I feel like it helps rotate the car a little bit if you just touch it with a tire width worth of tire in this case. So keep it in 3rd, patient with the throttle application, because if you carry too much entry speed, then you're gonna start sliding before you actually hit the curve, and it's gonna result in a big time loss. So you need to be completely like full on traction. If you're sliding anything, you're gonna lose a lot of time up the hill here. And then be careful with the curve strike and everything, because it's quite easy to both get an off track and just get the car upset over the bumps. Back to the left side of the track for this double right-hander. Gonna keep it in 4th before we start to brake. We are not upshifting to 5th, and we are braking as soon as we reach this continuous white line laid down across the track. Just like that, hold it to roughly around 55% brake pressure. Drop it 1 gear to 3rd, and this inside curve you really don't want to hit, but you want to get as close as possible to it. We are also hitting the throttle quite early in order to help the car rotate, because there's a lot of banking, so there's a lot of grip. Just like that, let the car track wide over the curve here on the left. Just be careful of not braking too much over the grass here, because otherwise the ABS is just gonna kick in and you're gonna lose a lot of time. So just like this, as close as possible to the grass, as I said. Drop it to 2nd gear. Start to turn in quite late as well in order to have a straight air exit out of the corner. So 50% brake pressure, trail the brakes up until this point, hit the throttle before you actually hit the curve, and then on the right here, it's very important you don't drive over the gravel on the inside, because otherwise it's gonna pull the car in and it's gonna upset it a lot, so you're just gonna lose a lot of traction. So very easy on the throttle, and then on the exit just lean fully on this outside curve, yeah, in order to maximize your track usage. Keep it on the left side of the track as you're going up the hill, and then as soon as you cross over this module sign, you can start moving back to the right side of the track. Just like that, very progressively, there's no rush, and yeah, the idea is that you need to do as little meters as possible. And here, you can either shift to 6 or keep it in 5th. I recommend keep it in 5th because you both use less fuel, and I feel like it's just faster and easier to stop the car for the chicane. Then for the chicane, I just look at this 3rd, this continuous white line on the asphalt, and I drop it to 3rd. And very hard on the brakes as the tires are very loaded, so you can get away with quite a bit. Just like that, you can put 2 tires on the gravel before you actually hit the curve. For some reason, it doesn't upset the car too much, because I guess because the tires are so loaded, just so that you can, you know, maximize your track usage on the approach to the corner. and holding it quite hard on the brakes, around 95% at peak. And as I said, third gear, start to turn in on the last white line, and you can cut quite a bit here on the inside. As you can see here, hit the throttle before you actually hit the curve, by the way, in order to help the car rotate. So as long as you have one tire touching the white line, you won't get an off track. So you can definitely take advantage of that, and you want to take advantage of that because that way you will have a straighter exit up the hill, which is the trickiest part on this corner. Yeah, just hold it to roughly around 65% throttle all the way through, and then full throttle before you actually hit the curve here, and then lift off a little bit in order to not upset the car too much and maintain your traction. And as soon as the car is settled, you can go back to 100% throttle here on the exit. Just make sure you lean on this outside curve without driving over the gravel on the left, and go back to the right side of the track before you actually get to the bottom of the bridge. And ideally you should be aiming for this white line that sticks out on the right. Then here, this is like the farthest you should go. Like the middle of the track is just fine. You don't really need to go all the way up to the outside because the car rotates quite fine and it has a lot of downforce, so you don't need to, just 2 extra meters for no reason. Then through here, it's very important you don't hit this inside curve too hard, because otherwise it's gonna understeer, and yeah, it's gonna cost you quite a bit of time. And that's it. Don't forget to head over to apexracingac.com or by clicking the link in the description below. Also, don't forget to join the Discord server, where we are providing support for every car, not just the Mercedes-AMG GT3 Evo, as well as the coaching sessions that we host on Wednesday evenings for IMSA, where a coach is gonna sit with you for anything between an hour and 2 hours, and yeah, you can just ask him voice chat whatever questions you have, and he can watch you drive in real time. So it's like a massive deal, because you basically get a coaching session for free. So yeah, take full advantage of that, and see you next one.